Welcome to Beyond Death, where we examine near-death experiences from people who say they have died, visited the other side, and came back. Today's first NDE comes to us from Darlene P, who tells of dying in the hospital and seeing Jesus and being healed by His grace. Let's get right into it. I had a near-death experience 48 years ago and recently relived it in a dream. I was sick for a long time. Despite seeing numerous doctors, nobody had a diagnosis. On Friday, I was taken to a different town with different doctors. Saturday morning, the doctor came in to check on me and found that I needed exploratory surgery immediately. During surgery, they found a ruptured appendix and ruptured cyst on my ovary. I was also filled with peritonitis throughout my body. After trying their best to take care of everything, they started to see my vitals dropping. They gave me a shot in my heart and roughly closed me up. I was put into a room next to the nurse's station so they could keep an eye on me. The IV in my arm was only adding to the edema as my body was shutting down. A roommate was brought into my room as she needed to be watched also. I was sleeping and woke up during the night to her hollering for help. The nurses came in to help and then removed her. Just then, I heard the sound of a soft cymbal and someone called my name. Until that time, I was only addressed by the title of Mrs. and my last name. Then I felt myself slowly floating up with no pain. It was so beautiful as the lights that surrounded me were like watching the aurora borealis. As I moved up, I spotted a small black speck about the size of a piece of pepper, but it seemed to be so out of place that I couldn't take my eyes off of it. The lights went away and I felt like I was lying on grass. I was still fixated on the black spot and knew that I had to see what it was. My pain returned and I felt so weak. I tried to crawl forward, but could only move an inch or so at a time. But when I did move closer, the spot got bigger. After what seemed like a very long time, the spot began to take on the form of a man. This figure and I came to a momentary stop. Then, I took a deep breath and forced myself to move one more time. It was then that the figure moved closer to me. The ground lit up, and I saw two arms coming down towards me. As the hands opened up, I could see big scars in his hands. I fell back down, but knew now that I had to look up higher. Bolstering all the strength that I could, I moved my head and upper body up to see who this was. He was bending down slightly, and I could see where the bright light was coming from. His face was so bright, it almost took my breath away. I knew then that I was looking at Jesus. I could see the hem of his garment and his sandals. I remembered the lady in the Bible that had been sick for a very long time, and she knew that if she could just touch Jesus that she would be healed. Fighting through a crowd, she reached out and touched him. He felt it and turned and told her she was healed. I looked at the hem of his garment and knew that I too was going to be healed. I reached out with my right arm and touched it. Immediately, I felt a warmth flow throughout my body. The next thing I knew was that I was in my bed, and I saw a soft glow at the end of my bed. I heard a soft voice was singing the song, "I Saw a Man." It sounds like the version by Connie Smith. Then the nurses came running in. The first nurse took my vitals and rechecked them as she told the other nurse that they were all normal. She replied, "Not bad for someone that just flatlined." All I could think of was that I needed to use the restroom now. They laughed and took care of me. They kept me for observation for another 3 days. The doctor told my husband to keep a close eye on me because I could still have problems. He didn't quite know what to say. It has been a very long time since this happened. The surgery was not completed. They couldn't get my body to accept medication from the IV, yet I still was full of infection. I was only kept for observation. The only follow-up after I left the hospital was to have all the stitches removed. The doctor said that I was one lucky lady. At that time you didn't say much about healings or they would have sent you to a psychiatrist. So I didn't say much to him. I was asked many times to tell my story in churches, but even there I encountered doubters. I can tell you I saw Jesus, I was in heaven, and I am in sound mind. I have been blessed beyond measure with good health ever since I touched the hem of Jesus' garment. I saw his sandals and the effort he put into my healing. I saw his glowing face and knew without a shadow of doubt I was with Jesus. Skeptics can't say I was drugged because my body had not received meds due to still shutting down. I was 34 years old at the time and I am 82 now. My doctor is amazed even now how unusually healthy I am for my age. The message I received through all this is in the song. Jesus says, "If I be lifted up, I will draw all men to me." I have tried to do just that, and my life has been blessed, and I have seen many miracles during that time. I know what he means by lifting him up by loving him and others. Next up we have a short NDE by Cristal S, who describes dying and her journey to the other side, where she encountered the light. Cristal writes, "I was asleep at my grandmother's house. I was sleeping with her in her bed. I suddenly awoke, struggling to breathe. I had asthma all of my life, so this was not particularly new or shocking to me, especially at my grandmother's house. She had a cat, and I often had asthma attacks when visiting her. I tried to sit up and ask her to get my inhaler, but I couldn't. I realized that I was dying, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was not frightened in any way, but had the brief thought that I didn't want my grandmother to wake up and find me dead, in the bed with her. I knew that would be very traumatic for her. That was my last thought before my spirit left my body. The next thing I saw was myself lying lifelessly next to my grandmother in the bed. I could see the whole room and even remember seeing the clock. It was 4:37 a.m. Then I began to ascend through the ceiling and to the outside. I could see the entire neighborhood by looking around. I could see what lights were on in the neighbors' houses and the night sky above me. Then very quickly, I started moving toward the sky. It seemed the further I went, the faster I was traveling. The stars seemed to be moving very quickly past me. And then I saw a bright light. The light I saw was one that could never be described with words. It was not like any light I had ever seen here. If there were a light here as bright as the light I saw that night, it would surely be blinding. But instead, this was the brightest, softest, whitest, and peaceful light I have ever seen. I have not seen anything close since that experience. I quickly moved through this light, and then I seemed to slow down and saw a presence in the light. I believe this to have been God. I remember thinking how awesome this was, and how peaceful, and that I never wanted to leave this place. However, there was a conversation that ensued, and though I don't remember the complete content of it, I do remember asking why I had to go back and why I could not stay. I knew I did not want to leave this place for any reason. I still to this day do not know what the answer was to my question. All I know is that I was told that I had to go back. I then turned away and began my journey back. It was similar to what I had experienced when it all began, but it seemed to take even less time to return. I then re-entered my physical body and sat up in the bed. I was very short of breath and very aware at what had happened, but I didn't understand why I had come back from where I had been. I was amazed that this had happened to me and wondered why it had happened. I wanted to wake my grandmother and tell her about it, but I figured she would think I was just dreaming. So I got up and found my inhaler. I used it and sat down to think about and try to remember the conversation that I had while there. But it never became clear and still hasn't. I didn't tell anyone about this for years. And still, I have only told a few select people. Sometimes I think maybe I should tell everyone, and then there are times I think everyone would think I am crazy. All I know for sure is that it was the most awesome thing that has ever happened to me, and probably will remain to be so until my actual death. I am not afraid of death, and I actually look forward to it. There is so much peace to look forward to. Notes from Beyond Death. I have included links to both of these near-death experiences in the description for anyone that wishes to do further research. Let me know in the comments below what you think about either or both of these NDE. Until next time, stay blessed.